I'm Russell.
And I'm Leo. This is Spitball. Welcome to Spitball, where three Turing-complete tech guys and a guest empty their heads of startup and tech product ideas that we have stuck up in there, so you can all have them for free. Anything that we say is yours to keep. And this week, boys, I brought our guest. I am delighted to introduce the world to Paul, my friend Paul, who works at Hope College with me. Paul is a graphic designer and marketing guru and a film enthusiast and friend of mine. I am fortunate enough to have him as a resource because I can't design for shit, and whenever I have some digital signage need or something on campus, I throw it on his list, and he always wows and amazes. Paul,
wow.
welcome to Spitball. It's good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you.
This is awesome. This is really exciting. I've never done a podcast like this where we're like over video, so this is incredibly cool. Usually, like all the ones that I have guest hosted on before, I get like in the room with people, and then we have microphones and all that other stuff. But this is great. I'm really looking forward to it.
I feel like we should start doing something with video. We record the video. Yeah. We don't do anything to like make highlights for the TikToks and all that. We gotta do that.
Subscribe to our Patreon. It's the only way.
I can make a
behind the scenes. We're all shirtless and nobody knew it.
I can make a killer YouTube thumbnail for you guys. I'll make it I'll make it definitely look more like Mr. Beast. Yeah.
Wow face. Yeah. Got our mouths open, looking shocked at some pitch that Scott just threw out. I love it.
$1 million idea, $1 billion idea for free.
This idea will change the world. Whoa. This week, we're going to get warmed up and started by doing an Intramurals round. We each brought a half idea that doesn't really deserve its own full pitch, but we want to talk about kind of rapid fire style. So who wants to kick us off?
I'll go.
Do it, Russell.
This is great lead-in, Paul, because I know you're drinking kombucha right now.
Yes, sir.
Leo, you said it's like Megan still got a kombucha business thing that she's a
her
part
dad.
of? Yeah,
my wife's dad has a kombucha brewing business over in Minnesota. Yeah.
Well, I'm about to stop all kombucha businesses cold with this amazing idea. So kombucha is, I hear, I've never done it myself, relatively easy to brew in home, what have you. And so my intramural idea involves creating the Keurig for kombucha. So you have two little, like, let's say carboys or smaller versions of that. You plug it into a machine, and it just slowly, you pick one at a time so it brews, and then when it's ready, you just rotate between. You just you refill with juice on one side while it's brewing. You still got kombucha on the other. You can go 3 or 4 carboys deep, or however many you want, and now you have
chaining carboys together.
Yeah, and you create the whole setup so you don't have to deal with all the the junk that is involved with kombucha brewing. So it's just, but they're smaller, and it's really home convenience. You throw it in your basement, and now you go downstairs and you fill like, let's say, a mini pitcher. If you really want to, or you go bigger, just have it on your shelf, right?
So this thing's fully automated?
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively automated because I think with kombucha, once you get the scobies going, the thing that actually brews it, you just fill it with just fruit juice, and that's it. Yeah. It's just fruit juice and a pump.
Bottomless kombucha.
I'm so excited about this.
I had figured that you were going to go like a true Keurig, like it rapid fire ferments the kombucha and it's ready. It's booch. Ready in like 60-second booch. That's what I figured, and I was like, how's that going to work? Because it has to ferment for hours and hours and hours, weeks.
Create a super yeast.
Behind me, one of those boxes over there is literally the Amazon starter kit to get going with kombucha, and I keep leaving it in the box and not doing it for months because I don't have frickin' space in my fridge. And that's what you get with kids who go through a gallon of milk every 3 days, right? You just where am I going to put it? I would totally take a standalone gadget, especially if it doesn't need to be in the kitchen and I can stash it away somewhere, basement or whatever, like you said. I love that. A carboy is the big a water cooler jug. Is that what I'm picturing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get a smaller one. I don't know. They have the smaller carboys.
I'm not a home brewer. You need to get me up with the term.
Let's do a gallon jug, but it's rectangular.
Oh, okay.
Let's say. How about that? All right, and you slide them into slots dump them in, and then you have a nozzle, let's say, or like a port in the top to like refill it.
That's great.
Your juice of choice, or the proprietary blend of juices, so that we have a recurring business model. That's it.
Well, and part of the magic that makes like a batch of kombucha really good is the SCOBY that's been like, this is my SCOBY genes, my certain flavor that I've honed over many years, many generations. That's kind of like a proprietary trade secret. So you could even have this one's a little more milder of a SCOBY starter kit, and this one is one that we've perfected that's got a real bite to it or whatever, and like make that part easy, because I think you kind of have to either know a friend or get like a business that already has one to like source that,
Is there like a underground SCOBY selling business right now?
It's essentially a big glob of snot too. It's not appetizing.
Yeah.
Like the thing that floats in there, you want to skim it out. So if you get the little machine like running it through filters and stuff, heck yeah, that's great.
Is the SCOBY the stuff that leaves the mother in the bottom of all kombucha?
Mother.
Yeah.
I'm learning so many words
I don't know
about
why it's called
kombucha
mother.
right
Yes,
now.
it is, but
Yeah. According to some of the threads that I follow on Twitter, Lady Gaga is mother. That's like that's Gen Alpha, Gen Z language, and I don't understand it at all.
yeah, it's a recurring theme that we just kind of are very out of touch with Gen Z culture on the show.
So bad.
You'll fit right in.
Thank goodness we work with college kids, right, Leo?
I guess so. Yeah, it makes me feel older every minute.
Can I go with my
Please.
Intramural idea?
I'd love that.
Russell, I love your kombucha idea. I think that has some legs to it for sure. So I thought about this, and I wrote, Leo was like, keep a notebook of all the things that you might want to say. And I was like, I have like 8 ideas. I want to do a like reverse microwave. So, and I don't know what you would call it. Microwave opposite microwave. So basically like something that
Flash freezer.
Yeah, something that can freeze something in like 30 seconds. Now I know that like restaurants have blast chillers and stuff like that, but they're obnoxiously expensive, right? So like I'm not going to fork over the money for a blast chiller like that I would need to have for residential purposes.
Sure.
So if I could have one that is like a microwave, but in reverse, so it doesn't heat anything up, it rapidly cools stuff down. You can make ice cream in, I don't know, a minute and a half, maybe something like that.
Frost a
Get
glass.
that lukewarm beer out, and frost a glass, and it instantly get the cold drink.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because even if you put I put this kombucha in the freezer right before I opened it and then put it in the freezer here, and it was in there for probably like 20 minutes, and it barely had any ice crystals in it.
Sure.
And so I wanted it to be ice cold, and it was in there for 20 minutes. But meanwhile, like I could heat something up in the microwave, and it would be ready in 30 seconds. So or a
Air fryer?
The
cold fryer.
It sounds counterintuitive to call it like a microwave freezer, but that's exactly what
A flash freezer.
Exactly
Desktop,
countertop,
a flash freezer.
Yeah.
You buy your little CO2 or liquid nitrogen capsules that you know, it's like a subscription or whatever, and that's your business model. I love that.
That's exactly right.
It's all Pivner. You just mess with the pressure inside of a contained thing and drop it as quick as you can, and the temperature will follow.
Well, apparently, too, you can use... you can do it with like a bath of ice and water, and then if you put salt on top of the water, it will help flash freeze stuff in probably like 3 to 5 minutes. So I don't know. I was an art major, not a chemistry major, so I have no idea.
Well, that's what you do for an ice cream maker. Normally in an ice cream maker, you stick your water and ice and stuff on the side, and then you dump salt in it too.
Yeah, exactly right. But even an ice cream maker takes like how long? Right. I mean,
especially if you're hand cranking that.
But imagine having ice cream done in 30 seconds. That would be amazing.
That's fun.
You could sell so much different like accessories like that, like ice cream mix and all that other stuff. It just
oh my god,
instant custom ice cream.
Well, you kind of I think the other thing that you might have with this, where like a competitor would come in and say something about it, is that you could basically take frozen fruit, throw it in a blender, and have ice cream in a matter of minutes, right? I mean, like or sorbet or whatever you want to call it, right? So I've made frozen ice cream with bananas before, like frozen bananas and chocolate and and my wife is like, this tastes like freaking bananas.
Okay.
not
Crazy.
in it, like
bananas.
Yeah. I know. I realize how that sounded.
I know what you mean.
No, she's like, this is disgusting. It literally tastes like bananas. Not like this is bananas. It's so good.
Do you have a food-themed one, Scott? Because I don't.
I do not.
Okay, great. We're time to hard pivot, I guess. You want to go?
Awesome. Sure.
Go ahead.
This is one that I have thought about ever since Russell started his job. And it's been written in my notebook forever, and I finally ran the math on it and realized that this is just a terrible idea. I have always wanted to create a power storage device using rain barrels or rainwater. Something where you see those things where like during the nighttime you can use cheap energy to move something very heavy, and then you lower it during the day in order to produce electricity, and then you can sell it back to the grid for a profit. Mm-hmm. I want to make a home version of that using just rain barrels or water or something with a little turbine or something in between. And then if you have a blackout or whatever, you could just turn on your rain barrel and it'll slowly release water to give you just enough energy to keep moving.
Yeah, then that doesn't work.
No. It doesn't work. The wattage, it's like by the time you hit the bottom, the electricity gets back to your house, you're at like 19% efficiency of what you started with going through.
What?
Boy.
Even on the like big ones that power plants run?
Not big ones. I'm trying to come up with like a home version. Something.
I hear you, but like, why is it so much less efficient than the giant ones in the mountains?
Probably because I'm buying my turbines off of AliExpress.
I see.
Cheap off the
Just
shelf.
get 5 barrels. Just get 5 barrels. You get, you know?
Yeah.
You pump it up to the attic. You leave a bunch of barrels up in the attic.
So I was just trying to think, is there anything else that you could use to store potential energy besides water running down your house?
What about like a grandfather clock weight, but it gets stored in the chimney you don't use?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long that would last or how much weight you'd need.
I don't think people want a giant flywheel in their basement that could explode at any point.
Just running at all times.
Ramp it up as that 10,000 RPMs.
What if I get a blackout tonight? We got to leave the flywheel going.
What's behind this
Leo.
door, right?
Right. Just all times.
10,000-pound flywheel.
Leo, that reminded me. I don't know about if Scott and Russell are fans of the greatest television show ever created, a 4-letter word called Lost. But
Scott is a big fan of Lost.
I was just gonna say that like that was giving me big like polar bear behind the wall, turning the crank. Turning the wheel
to move the island.
The island.
To move the island. Yeah.
Just got one of those in your basement.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, just a polar bear in Michigan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I might bring that one back to another day if I come up with a better idea.
If you get better turbine sourcing.
Better and more efficient turbines for cheap.
We've got one of those in Muskegon. You know that?
Do we really?
Yeah.
What are they using?
They have a giant, basically, lake. Our former
cool
guest and friend of the pod, Carl, told me all about it. Yeah, they pump a bunch of stuff up into a man-made basin that's basically a giant pond, but then they'll run the turbine, the exact same turbine that runs as when you feed it energy, a pump in one direction, then just goes backwards to generate it, going back out. The same pipes and everything.
I'm sure that's the part that I'm missing, to have a lake in your backyard versus something small and portable.
Well, if you can have a few, like, inflatable hot tub style, like big giant things in your attic, what could go wrong? It's just up at the high point in your house. Drip, drip, drip.
Just plug like your drains. You know, every bath you take, every toilet you flush, like screw the rain barrel. Just like throw some turbines in every pipe in your house and use the gravity at the end of the.
Why can't we do that?
Yeah, do they put turbines on like water towers? It's just water up there. Can we at least get some of that energy back on the way down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the whole point is to generate the pressure, and you're probably taking off some of the pressure by putting restrictions in the way on the way back down. Because they're using a pump to get it up there.
Yeah.
And then it's using gravity to like put pressure on the system. You don't want to have things stopping that. Still, in the home, yeah. Why don't we have a couple dozen little micro turbines in my sewer line going out of my house, just kind of getting me a little ambient wattage every time I let the bath out.
The poop will stop the turbine. That's probably why.
Oh yeah. Why don't I block my sewer line with stuff? I don't understand. That's a great point.
You figure there's a different way to probably do that, but yeah.
Yeah, probably.
This is why we're on the Intramurals.
That's right.
Moving on.
Moving on.
This What you got, Leo?
All right, I've got something extremely technical and nerdy, and this is going to be something that about, I don't know, one listener out there is going to vibe with me and everyone else is going to roll their eyes. So USB-C is a connector, and there are about 50 different kinds of cable that a USB-C cable can be, and it's so frustrating. You can be holding a USB-C cable that looks identical to another one in the other hand, and it's USB 2 versus 3 versus 3.1. This one is Thunderbolt 3. This one's Thunderbolt 4. This one, because of the gauge of the wire, can support more wattage than the other one over here. This one doesn't have any data cables at all. It's just for charging only, and they all look the same. We solved this problem before by having different connectors on the end, and then we standardized on one connector, and now we're reaping the benefits of, oh god, they are different cables, but they all look the same, and nothing has a label on it. Why don't they have a label on it? I don't know. Parallel to that, there is a device that you can get if you work with networking stuff a lot called the Fluke. I don't know if that's a brand name or not, but basically you plug in Ethernet into the wall and it'll say, yes, this port that you're plugged into is active. Here's how fast it is. Here's what IP address it tried to give me. Here's the kind of cable that this is. It's a crossover cable. It's a regular Ethernet cable. Let me test it. We think it's about this long, etc., etc., etc. I just want a USB-C Fluke. I want to be able to plug in one of these cables that's sitting in a drawer into a device, one end into the other, so it goes into itself, and it'll tell me what kind of cable it is. And maybe even it has a label maker so that it spits out, hey, here's what it is, so I can label them all. Great. There isn't much to vamp on. I don't know if there's much meat on these bones, but it's something that I really desperately need in my life.
It's very practical, I'd say. So it's Leo, pretty cut and dry.
No, I found one of these on Reddit, and I was so excited, and I'm like, I have to buy this for Leo. This is like 3 months ago. And I almost bought it on the spot. I went to the webpage and it was like $350, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh no! I have purchased, so I found several different things that purports to kind of do it. Mm-hmm. There's like a thing that you can put into the port itself, and then the cable into it as a little. It looks kind of like a flash drive, only it has a little screen on it, and it'll say, here's how much wattage is moving through it, cool. And here's what kind of cable we think it is and stuff. That they don't work. Nothing that I've tried has worked. If you found something, then we'll put it in the show notes because that sounds amazing.
How hard could it be, though, to detect a type of USB cable?
Right.
It's just like this pin's connected to this pin, so that means it's this.
It seems like the kind of thing where a little bit of firmware and 2 ports and a simple, yeah.
There's no way it should be that expensive.
I agree.
Like, they do this for, like, outlets to check if they're live. Mm-hmm, like, why not just, like...
Right.
Or phone cables. Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised this doesn't exist. $350 on a guy on Reddit? How is this not a real... I don't know. It just seems like...
Someone out there are dozens of us who would be customers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, seriously, though, IT departments all over. I mean, we have people in my IT department who will walk in and say, hey, I'm trying to use this charger to charge my whatever. Why isn't it working? And it's some dinky little Chinese cheap phone charger that they're plugging into their gaming laptop. That there's no way in heck that would ever, like, pump up enough wattage. If there was something that was like...
Trying to put 60 watts through a... 5 watt.
Right. It's smoking. Right. Just, I don't know how to solve the cables are hard to distinguish problem on a whole, but if there's some easy off-the-shelf solution that's in everybody's home that's like, hey, you plug this in and then it tells you or something.
I want one of these in every home in America.
This seems...
That's my platform. Herzog 2028.
We don't worry about anything else.
Too soon.
Which is
too soon, Leo.
Wait,
I'm just thankful that the iPhones finally came out with braided cables.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And they put the USB-C port on the bottom of the Magic Mouse, just like God intended. 15 years of having to flip your mouse upside down to charge it. That's not coming to an end anytime soon. Thank you, Apple.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. Leo and I have had this discussion before, I think. If you put the I mean, I can see one sitting over here at our desk or where our students work, but like if you put the charging port on the front of the mouse, yes, okay, it does work while you're doing it. But guess what? You just gave yourself a wired mouse.
Yeah, for like an
hour. The whole point of it is so you don't have to have a wire.
Yeah.
So you charge it for like 20 minutes and then you're good.
I don't want to argue about this again, Paul.
No.
It's functionally unusable.
Saying.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. Yes, but if you put it in the front, you just gave yourself a wired mouse, and congratulations, you just hopped in your DeLorean and went back to 2003.
That's better than mouse,
Would you rather have a wired mouse for an hour or no mouse for an hour?
I would have no mouse for an hour.
I guess so. Purist.
Apple just wants you to go take a walk outside. That's all it is.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess I don't get to work this morning.
Yeah. Here's another business idea. Every time that you charge your Apple Watch, your Magic Mouse, your Apple Watch goes off and says, "Hey, go take a walk."
It's a fitness integration.
Get up and move. Time to go. That's right.
It's time for your
all about personal wellness.
Every other month mouse charging walk. I like
there it is.
It likes a special kind of workout. Sorry, mouse is charging. I have to go. All right, Scott, what do you got? You kick us off. What do you got for us?
Okay. This idea came last week. I was walking my dog. I came across a different lost dog. It was a little white lab that was just standing in the middle of the street, happy as could be in a neighborhood. And if you are a millennial, a dog owner, whatever, you just can't let that happen. You can't just leave a dog just sitting out there lost and stupid. It was seriously like looking at cars like, oh, this is awesome. So eventually I went to a couple houses around the neighborhood, knocked, and just no one is like, I've never seen this dog in my life. They had a collar on. There was no tags or anything. I'm just like, God, I don't want to deal with this right now, but I can't leave this guy. Eventually brought him home, kept in my backyard, and after several Facebook and Nextdoor posts and looking on random websites, there's a bunch for lost dog. Finally found someone who had lost them several hours ago. They came, everything was happy. What I want is a app, probably even just a website, where I can just take a picture of an animal that I'm walking by, upload it. AI recognizes the type of animal it is, the breed. It's a picture, right? A modern day, so I have the geolocation and everything on this, and then I can just keep on moving, and then it can search. Honestly, even all the websites and all the work that I did that day, there is no reason that something else shouldn't be able to scrape all of those real quick and say, hey, this matches this one here, or this one matches this one here. Here's the phone number for it.
There's somebody on Instagram who posts pictures of a dog like this that lives half a mile away from you.
Exactly. It's all location based on there. And then you could add other things. I could eventually add a feature where I could upload a picture of my own dog to this website. So it just knows, hey, it can recognize what my dog looks like versus other ones that look similar. AI is, Google Photos is terrifyingly good at that. You could gamify it. I found 6 dogs this week or something. I don't know.
Dog hunter.
Dog hunter. So it just would have been
the bounty hunter.
Really convenient to have had last week, and I've been thinking about that a little bit.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's the Pokemon Go of lost dogs.
Yeah. You could imagine pet owners going to this and doing the thing kind of like how they register their chip that's in their dog once, where you say, this is my name and email address or whatever. I have a dog of this breed that is about this old or whatever, and then just forget about the account and not use it anymore. And then they get notified if somebody else posts about a breed that's like the one that you registered with earlier.
Yep. Reminds me of Amber Alerts, but the opposite. You sign up, you join the Amber, I don't know, there's probably a different color. Crimson Alert, I don't know, network.
Amber was the name of a girl who was abducted.
Oh, that's why.
The Sparky Alert.
We'll pivot away from that, though. The Sparky Alert? The Fido Alert?
Yeah. Fido Alert.
Fido Alert, there it is. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, something like that. And then you can upload your photo. You're part of the network, and now everybody's posting oh, put it on, what is it, Fido Alert. Now you got it.
Yeah.
This honestly seems like a feature more than a full-fledged app that something like an Instagram or a Nextdoor or something should just have.
And that's why I'm always thinking, don't even make an app. It's just a website where it has one button that says upload picture, and there's nothing else to it. You upload the picture of the dog, it'll take care of the rest.
It's interesting.
Oh, what about making it really easy to post on all these different sites? Yeah. Nextdoor, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything. Maybe not even on your behalf, but on some other version of that, right? This in localized and all that stuff. Maybe it's even a Facebook ad that's hyper local. Depending on how much money you want to spend, right? Instead of doing the reward, you can just
seems like a nonprofit that could pay for the ads for you.
Yeah.
You get donations and they pay for the ads. Yeah. Have you seen this dog?
Is that crazy? Would you want to pay for I think you would, right? Facebook ads to find your dog.
Yeah, throw $10 at it.
Hyper local, right?
Facebook's targeting system for ads, you could say, only post to these 4 street corners. Yeah, exactly.
I want it even for the laziest person who wouldn't even pick up the dog that they're walking by or help in any way. They're just like, this is the absolute minimum I could do. I see this cat, I take a picture of the cat, and I keep on walking or something.
So you make a new website that has one button on it, upload a photo. And you think
maybe we'll say up an animal you found. Well. With a captcha. We'll add a captcha.
What percentage of things that you're going to get in are going to be photos, Scott? You have fun trolling through those.
Yeah.
Be taking photos of your dog, Scott, uploading it to your own app just for fun. No. The trolls.
I wonder if that would work with like other things that are lost that like you misplaced and they're somewhere in your neighborhood. Like maybe one of your neighbors borrowed something and you know they borrowed it, and then it played like a game of telephone getting around your neighborhood, like a shovel, or let's say that you lost
finder.
like kids losing soccer balls or baseballs or something like that, right?
Lost
like,
my wallet.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah. I wonder if it would work. I wonder if it would work for that too. Like, could you post? So you're saying that you could post like what was like you found something, but what if you could also post, "Hey, I lost this thing."
That's what that's a good majority of what the websites are right now.
Yeah.
But the other problem is that there's like, way too many of them. And I was Googling around, like, how do I find this dog? Oh my God, there's like 19 different websites and half of them are from other states and other things.
Oh, yeah.
You have the network effects problem where...
Yeah.
What if this was like a bounty hunting app, but not like the dangerous kind? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just have crazy bounties for like, I lost my wallet for about a year. I had to buy a whole new one, cancel the credit cards.
Yeah.
It was like at the start of winter. But like, I probably would have done like $100. I know the location, the tile. I had my tile in my wallet, but I couldn't ring the bell thing. I don't
Treasure
know.
hunters. Yeah.
Yeah, and now instead of you take the geocaching community and you apply it to a paid find this stuff in this general area thing. Works for rings when you lose it at the beach. Works for all that other stuff. And now you have like a bounty network that's like search and find. Lost and found my sweater, my hat, my hood, I don't know, and just, right? Something like that. And create like a paid geocaching, right?
Do they still exist?
Yeah, that's the thing. Friend of the pod, Sanders, still a big geocacher, yeah.
But what do you lose that's like expensive enough for like a bounty outside of a dog?
That still like isn't something where you post it and then someone just goes and takes it and now it's theirs. You know what I mean? Like, you have to somehow tap into either altruism and people wanting to do the right thing, or
make it run passively in the background.
It's valuable to me, but not valuable to pawn. Yeah.
True.
I wonder if you could sell like special dash cams whose sole purpose is to like find stolen cars. Keep it up in your connected to your car. It's just always running and just always looking at different license plates and things going by and like, oh, that's a stolen car.
Or license plates on the Amber Alert.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. I don't know how you convince people to put that in your car.
I mean, when those go out, they often say, there was a blue pickup truck going eastbound on this time. Keep your eyes out. That's kind of what those Amber Alerts often say,
it just
right?
does it
like,
on its own.
Yeah.
Every car's got one. You volunteer your car's backup camera to be just contributing to that network or whatever. Whoa.
It's like...
That's a whole different idea. That's
surveillance state.
Yeah. It's like, let's move towards 1984 as a community.
Yeah. If your car had a checkbox in the settings that said, contribute my cameras to police, like, I don't know if I'd check it. Now to think about it. So I dropped a phone into a lake a couple of months ago, and it's gone. And I hired a scuba diver, and I went magnet fishing,
really?
and it was a whole thing. Yeah, and no luck.
It's not worth that much, Leo.
I don't know if magnet fishing's good for a phone either, minus being on the bottom of a lake.
Well, it had a case. It had a case on it that had the MagSafe ring, and so I was like, maybe there's a chance, and cool. Why not? It'll just kind of be a fun. Wouldn't that be a crazy story? And otherwise, I'm just sort of entertained by the journey. It's down at in Saugatuck, so. I was paddleboarding and I had like a 5-day-old brand new phone on me, and the hockey stick shot it off the paddleboard. I had my phone because I was taking adorable pictures of my children paddleboarding for the first time, and it was gone. But if I could go to your cool message board thing and say, all right, like $400 bounty, go. Here's where I know I was. Here's the part of the lake I was in, et cetera, et cetera.
Dude, lost phone.
The saga is, yeah, right. The saga is really long, but one step of that whole journey was after I lost it a couple of days later, I got the email saying, hey, it's Google. Don't forget you can still buy accidental damage protection on that phone you just got. I was like, oh. And so I did. And then I filed a claim, and it was like, oh, this doesn't include lost or stolen items, only damaged items. It's like, no. So I was out even more money.
I mean, that's massive water damage, though.
So all I needed was any phone in my hand from the bottom of the lake, even if it was like totally kaput, and then I would have been good, right?
So did I miss
Learned my lesson.
Did I miss that you said you hired a scuba diver?
I did. And then that guy got COVID, and he's like, my other buddy's also a scuba diver. I'll send him instead. And the first guy would have had a magnet with him. The second guy didn't. But there's probably other amateur scuba diverists who are looking for a place to go and something fun to look for, right? Maybe? I don't know.
Where does one hire a scuba diver to go find a phone?
My coworker and friend of the pod, Steph. I keep name dropping tonight.
Yeah, you did. You said friend of the pod like 4 times.
I know. She posted on a local, what we call Holland Informed, local like Facebook group of people who just live in the area, and said, I know someone who dropped a phone. Anyone have any ideas? And there were like 3 people in the comments who said, here's an idea. I know a guy. Here's a different guy you could ask. Here's their phone number. So it was all local networking.
That's awesome.
That's super cool.
It was kind of a fun conclusion to the saga, you know, like, you know what? This will be an entertaining afternoon. Let's hire a dude on Facebook to go troll around for an hour or 2. And he did. He came with his tanks and gear and everything and put his little flag up. That was a buoy bobbing in the water. Diver below. Didn't have any luck, though. Anyway, I don't know if we're keeping any of that.
That's fine. If we're not, then how much does the scuba diver cost for an hour?
I think it was $100 an hour. Minimum of 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's how you clean your boat, Scott, right?
It is, yeah. I have a guy named Gary who just goes around in the yacht club and he asks, hey, you want me to wash the bottom of your boat? And all these race people are like, hell yeah, here's $50.
That ring cam money treating you well with your boats and your
ring
yachts.
cam money, man. And my shitty ass boat.
Yachting.
All right, Paul, what idea have you brought us this week?
Yeah. So this summer, I have an 8-year-old, and she has a lot of friends in the neighborhood, which we call the scooter squad, because they're always riding scooters, especially in the summertime, back and forth to each other's houses. They're playing in the yard. They're doing what all these kids in suburbia usually do in the summers, and they all play together, and they all have a lot of fun and all this other stuff. And they go from house to house and, whatever. But one of the things that ends up happening inevitably is that they leave doors open when they come in, right? So they leave the door to the mudroom goes into the garage open, or they leave the front door open, or they leave the slider open that goes out to the back patio deck, and all this other stuff in my house. So my house had a lot of flies this summer, and those mother effers are fast in the summer, right? You get into this time of year and they're super slow. Like I could swat them probably with my pinky, but in the summertime, they're super fast. They're super active. I don't know how flies breed, but I would imagine that they're trying to breed. I don't know what's going on.
'Tis the season.
I could never get access to the fly swatter fast enough. I could never get a towel fast enough. I could never grab, I see a fly and I see them land and I'm like, I'm going to get that son of a bee and I'm going to mess them up real good.
Mess them up.
Yeah. So all these kids are leaving my damn doors open in the summer. Flies are coming in and out of the house. So my idea is that you can, we need like clothing sleeves or like a sleeve of your shirt that turns into a fly swatter, like a lot, like, so like think like either like Henry Cavill in the Mission Impossible movie where he like reloads his arms before he punches, right? In that one where he's like, and he does that thing, or in like Christian Bale's Batman where like they run an electric current through the cloth and it becomes stiff, right? So think like that. But then you do that and your sleeve, so like you could just like punch your sleeve out and it automatically turns solid into an object that you could then just thwap right down, kill the fly, not have to worry about grabbing the fly swatter from the mudroom or behind the broom closet or wherever it is, or trying to get a towel and whip it at the fly. You automatically have it built into your sleeve, and it is ready to go when you see that sucker, and you can just end his life in the most glorious way possible.
I know, just Wolverine claw fly swatter out.
That's exactly right. But I think
fly swatting clothes.
I think the biggest thing is that it has to turn, like somehow there has to be a mechanism in there, whether it be that electric current like Batman or whatever, where it turns stiff, because otherwise you're not going to be able to kill the fly. So you got to have something that does that. I don't know what that would be. It would get all the damn flies out of my house.
So maybe this is an elephant in the room, and maybe this is just my brain only, but main reason I don't go after flies with my sleeve is hygiene. What do we do about fly guts and blood and gore all over our sleeves?
Oh, well, I mean,
price you pay.
I would say that, that's exactly right.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when when a dog pisses in its territory. It's like you leave that blood, like you leave that scent behind. It's a warning to others. You do not belong here. Stay away. Or I think too, like if we've got the technology to stiffen clothing through kinetic energy, we would certainly have it to like sanitize it afterwards, right? Yeah.
Google has was it called Project Weave, where they've got shirts that they sell where there's capacitive sensors all along it, so you can skip going to the next track by like running your finger along your sleeve, or
that's
pause
wild.
by double tapping your sleeve and stuff. We're close, man. We're close.
That's some Tony Stark stuff. Wow.
I know.
That sounds like a cool, like,
Jacquard.
Even besides the flies, I don't know if your fly is like a euphemism for like your enemy, Paul, like a human enemy.
It's not, but now it is.
I'm gonna pepper spray
bar fight.
I mean, like, yeah, you're at the bar, you want a little self-defense, you don't want to carry your gun with
you. Yeah.
I've got a weapon, a club, ready to go. I like it.
I mean, I think that might actually have some utility outside of just the common fly.
Every law enforcement agency in the country is perked up, man.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if you could do it without clothing, though, like it's a accessory, a bracelet or something that turns into a fly swatter on there. Because I'm picturing you, and you're right about in the winter they're a lot slower, but in the summer I'm probably not wearing long sleeves at the same time.
That's fair.
But if we had some kind of accessory to go for it.
Oh yeah, like the slap bracelets, right? You get one of those.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
Put a fly swatter at the end.
It just every time the slap bracelet is on, it just recoils, and then when you stretch it out, it turns into the fly swatter. And I mean, because the alternative here is to teach a bunch of 7 and 8 year olds how to close doors properly, and that sure as shit is not going to happen. I can tell you that much.
Reinvent fashion is much easier.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to learn how to do that. Not anytime soon.
Have you ever played with the fly shotguns, the salt shotguns?
I have family who has one. I've never held it. Does it work?
It's incredible. We got one as a joke gift for Christmas last year, and I love it. Every time there's a bug of any kind in the house, I get so excited, and I sprint into the pantry, I pull it off the wall, and it just shoots a small amount of salt. You just literally put table salt in the top, and it just scatter blasts them, and they go flying.
Does it kill them?
Yeah, instantly.
Or immobilize them? Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
You might have to do a double tap for some of them, but they're on the ground after that first shot.
Sure.
That does sound fun.
So it's like it's salty buckshot for for flying nuisances in your home.
Salty Buckshot was my stripper name in college.
That was you?
That was me.
I want to spitball that door thing one day, Paul. Like how to keep doors shut.
How to keep a door.
Like,
oh yeah.
I guess
with children around.
My neighbor down the street and across the way has 2 elderly dogs, and about every 3 or 4 weeks they're just wandering because they have 2 kids who just leave the door open.
Oh,
hey, I found Ike again. Sorry. I like walk him over there. Hey, it's your dog. Oh, back door must have been left open. They're so casual about it.
We're building a connection with Scott's app the photo upload, with your story there, Leo. That's amazing. Yeah, I wish that there was a way. I mean, like the only other thing that I think would work to get people to get little children to close the door is that like every time they close it, it like puts a piece of candy in there or something.
Train
like that.
them.
Like, yeah, like Pavlovian.
Little dog treat.
Totally Pavlovian. They just like Every time they close the door, they get a little yeah.
Oh, right. Open, shut. Candy's dispenser.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Fun.
I totally empathize with this freak. How do you kill flies more conveniently? I feel like the fly swatter needs to be like, it's time.
It's all, like, it's kind of like Frisbee. Like, it's just all in the wrist, right? I mean, you gotta you gotta like thwap it.
It feels good when you make contact, but it scares the heck out of my dogs, and it is covered with splatted guts, and you gotta like clean it, but you don't want to touch it to scrub it off. It does need innovation. I don't know how to make it better.
You know what? Let's do this at night. You know how all the flies go hit your TV when you start? I think that's it. You just put up a safe non-killing thing. It's just like a capture light.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know. There needs to be something.
The bug zapper, but captures.
But like one way in, and it's just every night.
They have those.
Oh, really? They do?
Is that a
Paul
thing?
knows.
Yeah, they look like a Glade plug-in, and they just you just like plug them in your kitchen or wherever, and it emits like this blue light, and they I think there's like fly paper in there. They just get stuck.
That's incredible.
They say it's a more humane way to get rid of the flies, and I'm like, I didn't know that we needed that, but thanks, AS.
How do we make it less humane?
Yeah, I'm so glad that the ASPCA is sticking up for flies.
Glue paper is more humane than a quick and dirty splat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you ever see like the Xbox Connect with a high-powered laser on a gimbal? It's just like a 1-watt laser, but it can track mosquitoes as they go by and go beep. It just shoots them out of the air.
What?
It's incredible. Some guy did this
An
years
automated
ago.
3D camera turret laser?
He just gets the X, Y, and Z. You calculate where it is based on the picture that you have, because you have two that you overlay. And then you just shine a laser, and because it's 1 watt, they just die.
What?
Oh my god, that's so cool.
So have a couple of these automated turrets around your house, just picking them
That's so
off as they
cool.
go by.
That's insane. That's some Star Wars shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
How does it not accidentally
That's
shoot
my question.
people?
Yeah, this is some guy coded this with like an Arduino and an Xbox Connect, so
Hope the room's empty.
I'm sure you could make a better version nowadays.
Shoot the dog.
I mean, AI, you could be like, is this a picture of a fly? Run it through a quick AI. It looks at just one part of the image, says that is a fly at these coordinates. Yes.
Or it just is it's like only pointed at the ceiling, basically.
No, I want this shooting everywhere all the time.
All right.
Dude, imagine that on a farm. It would just like kill every
It's low powered too.
Yeah, put that on the back of a horse, like you just firing nonstop.
That's a great idea.
Oh right,
Saddles with built-in fly lasers.
Yeah.
the smart saddle.
Smart saddle. There you go.
Wow. And here we are, like Paul's inconvenience at his home. Trying to save a horse's ass, I guess. What's the difference?
Your house is basically a barn, Paul.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Russell, what do you got for us?
All right, so it's a love corner idea. So I have, as you guys, fellow listeners, many listeners of the pod, this is my dating app idea for that I will never launch because I'm a married man, and that just would seem a conflict of interest. So,
Legally not allowed to. You signed it in your marriage
It's a
vows.
conflict of interest.
That's right.
Honey, I will be with you forever. I promise to never launch a dating app.
but look at these profile matches I'm getting on this app while I test this. Totally fine. No, but here's the idea. So, okay, what if for this dating app idea, you matched with your celebrity doppelganger? So, I think it's really hard or not doppelganger, like your celebrity crush, we'll say. So you pick your celebrity crushes, okay, or who you want to meet with. And so, for example, are you more of an Aubrey Plaza guy, or are you more of a Jessica Day guy? Which, like, completely different ends of the spectrum. But you now, like, when you sign up for the app, you have to fill out a questionnaire, and you match yourself, like, the app matches you with a celebrity doppelganger, right? Because you're like, oh, this is like Nick Miller from from New Girl. Like, sure, he kind of looks a little weird, but, like, so does Nick Miller. So shoot, maybe I give him a shot. You know, I think there's like, I think, yeah, that's it. Like, you basically are trying to, you identify yourself and the app identifies you as like a set of celebrity personalities. And because most people can relate to that celebrity personality or actual person, they can give them an extra little bit of grace when they look at them, right? Because like there are a lot of ugly people on let's do Scrubs. Okay, what's his name? JD, is that his name? The guy
Zach Braff.
You're not gonna be like, damn, I don't know.
I don't know, man. He was with Florence Pugh for a really long time. So.
It's true.
I stand corrected, probably. Yeah, maybe a different guy. I don't know. There's all I have to say is...
so this isn't me just like swiping and being like, I'm hoping I'm going to get DiCaprio or Johnny Depp, and then you finally meet them in person. You get to see how they compare.
You're looking at the profile, but you're taking it from the lens of that celebrity perspective of who you're looking for, or you filter by celebrity
personality
options.
type.
Yeah. So,
like a girl, like somebody could be like, I'm looking for a Nick Miller type of guy.
Yes.
Right. Or Jake Johnson, the actor. Yeah.
Yeah, two different personality types, I'd say. Right, Jake Johnson versus maybe they're more similar than they're not. Like, but like that's what it would be. Aubrey Plaza is like crazy weird, but like if that's your type. Like match to your type based on your celebrity personality, not just like that way when you go on your date, you're not like meeting with the other end of the spectrum of Aubrey Plaza. I don't know if that is.
Yeah. The actual Aubrey Plaza. I want the Parks and Rec version.
It does give you something to talk about. So how are you like an Aubrey Plaza? Yeah.
That's true.
So the main problem, the core issue that you're trying to solve here is that some dating apps don't really give you a quick summation. This is like a way to make something relatable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
This
is an old idea this was mid baby pregnancy idea, but I remember a little bit more now. Basically it's hard to find your type, right? Your type, you can find your type on TV. You can find your type by looking and watching all these TV shows, and it's more universal than saying, "Oh, I like this type of person, a bubbly, whatever type of person." You can actually match that with a personality that's more universal than just, quiet introvert. No, this is Pam Beasley from The Office, right?
Yeah.
I like Pam's, not, I don't know, Megan Fox's. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just not my type. Whatever. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of Megan Foxes out there for people, but not for me. Like, that would be like the initial. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah,
that's the approach.
That's really good.
To abstract away the personality traits into instead like a relatable card that summarizes what you're looking for. Okay.
Do you then yourself get assigned a like celebrity persona?
Yeah, I just want to take the test.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for real.
Yep.
That's how we get our first users. We just get a bunch of married men to fill out this test.
It's basically like mid-2000s BuzzFeed.
What celebrity
Which
are you?
Seinfeld character are you?
Yeah,
right.
And then we have all these wives now being like, what the hell is this app? And they do it too. And they're like, oh, do we even match each other? And now we have this viral campaign of, no, but
there you go.
Yeah,
he's such a Ross.
Yeah,
right.
Can you? Oh gosh, what if you matched yourself with like celebrity that you do not want to be? Like,
that's what I was just thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Change your personality. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah.
Dwight Schrute. What?
Yeah.
Aw, man.
Ted Mosby, one of the worst.
Yeah, right.
The most wet blanket character in all of TV history.
Least likable. Yeah.
There it is.
There was a reason why all those BuzzFeed things caught on.
People wanted to know.
It is easy to
pretend you're somebody else.
It's an easily viral thing, right? Like it's a lens that everyone can understand to see the world. Oh, I'm such a whatever this character. So using that as like a way to quickly convey all the stuff that a dating app needs to convey about a person. That's a great idea.
And after you're done with the date, you can always like set a realignment. Like, oh, this guy thought he was Brad Pitt in Fight Club, and now he's more like Dwight.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah.
I don't even know what a celebrity doppelganger I'd want to aspire to be. Yeah, it'd be interesting if the app told you, but I feel like you probably would have more accurate listings of who is what if you didn't let the app say. Like if someone gets that they are Dwight, they're gonna delete the app.
And you know what? Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
well, to some extent, like you
don't want them on there.
Well, it's just not. I hate to say it, but like there's dating apps are like only successful for certain types of people, and unfortunately, the Dwight Schrutes of the world would never make it on a dating app.
Unless you find a bunch of Angelas on the dating app.
That's right.
That is true.
Stand corrected.
Maybe there's like a
Thanks,
bonus
Dwight.
feature, a special mode where you unlock not only are you compatible across this, but you actually were a celebrity dating couple in the show that you're sourcing this from.
The front end, it knows you're...
Yeah.
The front end shows you, you're a Brad Pitt, for sure. Back end, it knows you're Dwight.
Are you attracted to power? Dwight Schrutes is your man. All right, Leo, what do you got for us this week?
All right. So I learned recently that my boss and friend had been trying to pioneer line painting robot for their Formula SAE course, where you would take a Roomba type thing, you set it down in an empty parking lot, you go to the app and say, I want it to draw a racetrack that looks like this, and it goes around and paints or drops flour or drops markers or somehow denotes autonomously, hey, here's a bunch of things to place on this empty parking lot to make it into a racetrack. Great idea. I also learned this week that already exists in the form of line painting robots that fields like professional sports places use. They basically set loose a little Roomba that goes around and draws the lines on fields and courts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I would love something like that. This started as Roomba Zamboni, but I want to pivot a little bit where I go to lake or pond in backyard or local pool that's closed in the winter or whatever, and I drop my little autonomous robot and it scrapes the ice and makes it skatable and all that, maybe even runs regularly. But also you could fire up the app and it tests for how thick the ice is, and it draws a bunch of regulation hockey sized lines all over. Place your net here. So it goes all around, and you can imagine the interface of like dragging and dropping a field on top of a lake on your app. Go, and it just starts humming around and preparing the ice. I feel like there's a lot of neighborhoods that are built around ponds that don't get used in the winter, or there's house in the suburban woods where there's some pond back there that you could go through the work of like setting it up in the winter to be an ice rink. Sometimes there's the cool dad who does it, but it's so much work. You could go to the lake we live in a Great Lakes state, but there's all kinds of states around this beautiful United States that have little lakes and stuff that just don't get used in the winter. And if I could take my little robot, come back in an hour, and it's prepared a little cleared off spot to make an ice rink, and it's tested to make sure that it's safe to do so, I think that'd be sick. So it's both Zamboniing and somehow testing ice and maybe also drawing lines. That's a lot of things to ask of this MVP.
I want to add one more to the MVP.
Yes, please do.
I just want it to be able to draw things too. I can be like, put it on a lake and just draw this picture onto the lake.
What kind of things do you want to draw on the lake, Scott?
I don't know. We'll let the community make use of that. But it's like your little mini oasis, the sand guy. Put a marble in a giant thing of sand and it draws cool shapes. Let's do that on a grand scale.
That'd be fun. Even on a big empty rolling field of pristine snow, you drop your little robot and it draws some art into the snow by driving around for a while.
In the summer, you can put it in the cornfield and make some crop circles.
Dude, if Canadians are listening to this podcast, Leo, like, we're going to blow up. Like, that's
it.
Yeah.
That's
Every
right.
Canadian
That's right.
out there, right?
I have a coworker who every year takes their backyard pond and does the hockey thing. Hockey, they do hockey, but they turn it into a skating rink. And it's so much work. And it seems like the kind of thing that a robot could automate some of. Clearing it off, leveling it, making it so that the ice on there is not rough, where it's like, if it just snows and kind of freezes haphazardly, it's not great skating snow. You need to like actually put down a layer of water. So he's hosing it down every couple of hours. I know that some people will do that with tarps and stuff in their backyards too. Mm-hmm. It seems like the kind of thing you should be able to just like make a robot do.
It does.
Okay, so question, does the robot freeze the water as it's doing it, or are you relying on atmospheric conditions to
probably
maintain?
Yeah, on a hot July day.
Freeze the lake. Go.
Yeah, I think you need the latter, but I think Zambonis like lay down a layer of hot water. So it could even be a little heater and scraper and, sand it down kind of situation. It doesn't necessarily need to be putting fresh water from a tank or something like that. It can use what it scoops up,
Yeah. I just know that it depends on how long you want this thing to take, right? Like, because it takes a really long time for lakes to freeze. Like, some of them aren't fully frozen until, February?
But when do you know?
Here?
Like, you're supposed to, I guess, drill a core sample, or like, how am I supposed to know I can go skate on that? And if so, is it going to be a good experience? If I could, in the morning, drop my little Roomba guy off, and then by after work in the evening know, or like Friday night to Saturday morning or something, hey, this is safe, and we made a little couple 100 square foot for you to go ham on.
Yeah, point a little ultrasonic sensor towards the ice, and it could tell you the depth of it.
Yeah, way better than listening to those quacks at the DNR.
That's right.
What do they know?
Exactly. It's always astounding to me when you see ice fishermen tents out there. You're like, oh, man, they're so far out and it's so early. Are you sure? Yeah. But they probably know better than I would.
Yeah.
Until I get my robot.
I've gone with my father-in-law a bunch of times, and it's really fun.
It does sound fun.
But now, nowadays you can set up a ice hut or like an ice fishing hut, and it's like a mini house.
Yeah.
You can have so many things in there. Heaters and grills and food and...
Can't you Amazon Prime an A-frame house now, ready to go for $15,000? Drop one of those on the ice next day, 2 days shipping.
Yeah, getting it off of the ice in time for
just let it sink.
Springtime is gonna be a bitch. But
another next year.
It's a reef.
Capitalism. It's a reef.
It's basically ecologically friendly.
That's amazing.
2-stall garage, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, beautiful home on the lake. On the lake.
Airbnb a few times, you make your money back. Boom, right?
Yeah, totally. You won't believe the water feature on this home.
Lakefront property.
That's right. There's a Mitch Hedberg joke about that where he's like, I just want to live on the lake. Forget lakefront. I want to be lake on. Leo, it reminded me too, like a little Roomba robot. I just found out that there are Roomba robots that cut your lawn.
Yeah, they were all over Norway. We went in 2018, and they were every hotel, every country, these huge rolling hills had little yellow back and forth robot. You can get one for pretty cheap nowadays for your backyard. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to do that so my wife doesn't yell at me for taking 2.5 hours to mow the lawn.
It's under $1,000 now to get one that just does it all summer. You just set a little base station. How those things can navigate and get all the little hills and cracks and stuff of your yard, I don't understand, but it's so
if it could
accessible.
Mulch or pick up leaves, I'd be all over that. I'm sure that if that doesn't exist, that's going to be an attachment. Put a little trailer hitch on the back.
For $1,000, that covers the riding mower way over. Those riding mowers $3,000 or $4,000.
There are some that are a lot more than that, but yeah, I think a robot mower for the entry-level one are in the mid-hundreds now.
Wow. Yeah, you get if you get a John Deere, and your mowing deck is anywhere beyond 24 inches, you're paying $3,500 easy.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be a big mower deck, because it can run all day for all I care. It goes out, does a bit, goes back, recharges it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just buy a goat.
You could do that too.
No maintenance.
Dude, so you did the hockey thing, right? But what about just regular fields? What if you did this for soccer fields and stuff? Well, I guess that the cones do well. You don't need a whole
cones are good. That does exist, but it's very this is the predetermined route, and it costs a lot of money, and it's the professional stadium that needs to repaint the logo in the middle and all that stuff. It does seem I agree, where I could take my little Roomba size thing, drop it down, say I want a regulation lacrosse field right here, drag it on the map, or put 2 cones on the corners down and say go. And it just sorts of putts around for 30 minutes and spray paints straight down,
Yeah.
It'd be so fun.
Or like, if you want to do this in like public fields, it could be chalk paint and then it washes away.
Sure.
And now you have like...
Oh, yeah.
You create like a really cool experience, right? All of a sudden by, to your point, like what if you had like a regulation logo in the middle that you put out there? You just make it feel really professional for very little effort, right? That would be really neat.
There could be like a user-submitted marketplace for your designs for like, here's the Quidditch court. Oh, that's so fun. Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like people are designing their own little courts that you can then, it's like 3D printing, but 2D and huge.
I'm trying to think of the simplest possible MVP of this, and I keep coming back to, could you just take a drone, any old drone, map it out to be like, hey, these are the corners or these are the spots I need to mark, have it fly over and drop something very simple, and you can either put a cone on top of it, or the drone could bring the cone, who knows, like those little cheap plastic soccer ones, and it just creates your basic outline of it, and we'll add on from there.
Your basic couple $100 off-the-shelf drone has really, really accurate GP. Could probably just have a little cone dispenser, the basket that hangs underneath it and drops them every few feet.
Like you said, chalk or sand, it just marks the spot and moves on to the next. You get a perfectly sized whatever.
A cone drone.
Cone drone.
Ooh. Yeah.
It doesn't need to fly. It could just have big tire treads and putts around. I know you always want it to be something that flies.
Flying lawnmower. That's what I'm thinking next.
Flying Zamboni.
Flying Zamboni.
Yeah.
Just scoops a little, flies away.
And the battery lasts 4 minutes.
Not if it's, unless it's controlled by the flux capacitor, then then you can just go all day.
If I don't have to worry about energy, then energy is not a problem.
Couple extra gigawatts.
I think it should be gas powered. You set down this big ass thing. It just puzzes around, big smokestack. It's a blend of old and new technology. Autonomous driving, but coal fired.
I think this would be really cool for like drill lines. So like, let's say you're running a sports team and you want to draw lines in the actual field for drills. Not actually playing games or scrimmaging. You want to do like some unique pattern on the ground to...
Football plays. You got your X's and O's on the chalkboard, but you're actually putting them like over here is where you're going to go to, wide receiver, and the thing goes around and draws them. That's fun.
Yeah, or like put marks in the ground for you to, run those plays, or like you got to hit this point at this time every time, and it literally measures... You create a whole professional athlete version of that, right?
Yeah. You draw a 1, 2, and a 3, and you tell the player you got to be at spot number 2 by 7 seconds into this play. Start the clock. Yeah, that's great.
You can even do different sports that no one's ever heard of. Like, just like, here's the line pattern for this new sport that I invented. Now we're getting weird with it. But
there's a park that's near us that has a built-in equipment for... What's it called? Gaga ball, which is like a hexagon or an octagon ring that you put dodgeballs in, and there's a rules plaque on it, but it's like part of the playground. I feel like there's a whole like, I'm Joe Schmo and I invented a weird game and here's a marketplace now where I can put this out there. Yeah. You've put the rules set and the field design into this app, and then the robot goes around and anyone can replicate it.
They have Gaga Ball at my daughter's school, and
do they?
I have no idea what it is.
It's kind of like dodgeball. You start on the edge. You're trying to like swat it at each other. I don't get it either.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, the gym coach was like the archetype of cartoon gym coach, the overweight old guy who like, everything that you'd imagine. His name was Mr. Wadle, and he invented Wadle Ball, which was a game that you played in the wrestling room, in the padded room. It had a bowling pin, and it was kind of like dodgeball, but there was a goalie. It was a whole thing, right? But there's probably a lot of people out there who have their weird game like Wadle Ball that's just sitting in their brain. They play it at their friends group or their church youth group or their once a year guys trip or whatever it is. It'd be cool to like have a marketplace for those ideas.
Kelvin Ball.
Then my little spray painting robot executes it so anyone else can make theirs.
That's right. Flonkerton from The Office. From the Office Olympics.
Exactly. Well, dear listener, if you're putting on the cleats to go play Wadle Ball or Flonkerton, and you're finishing up this episode in your headphones. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you so much, Paul, for joining. This was so much fun.
Man, thank you. This was a blast. This was really fun.
Well, I can't wait to see what else is in your book.
Oh, thanks, man. This was fun.
Our website is spitball.show. There you can find links to our YouTube channel, social media, email us feedback, comments, ideas. We'd really love to hear from you. We are a podcast at spitball.show, and that's also how you can follow us in the Fediverse, such as Mastodon. We are a podcast at spitball.show. Our subreddit is r/spitball show. Our intro-outro music is Swingers by Bonkers Beat Club. Please, if you don't mind, if you have a friend who you think, oh man, they always are pitching me wacky ideas about whatever, send them a link to the show, spitball.show. We'd love to have them. If you wouldn't also mind, review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps people find out about the show. New episode is coming out in 2 weeks. We will see you then.